May we please rise for the national anthem. We are going to sing.
Please be seated. Wait. My leaders from the Labour Party, fellow obedients, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, good morning, good afternoon, rather. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am glad to welcome you to this press conference, which is informed by the need to set records straight and highlight some incremental challenges to the signed peace accord. His Excellency Peter Obi is a successful businessman, a two-term governor, vice presidential candidate in 2019, who subsequently moved to Labour Party, where he now is the presidential candidate, enjoying tremendous goodwill and overwhelming support of the people. In the squabble for the second and third positions, some erstwhile major political parties appear to have crossed the boundaries of decency to transgress our peaceful activities and our focus on political schedules. On the 29th of September 2022, an eminent group of statesmen under the aegis of the National Peace Conference brought together all presidential candidates to sign a peace accord, which represents an agreed code of conduct for the 2023 presidential elections. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is unfortunate that despite the noble objectives of this initiative, disinformation and misinformation about the Labour Party and its candidate have become fashionable in this election season. Recently, for example, there was a false narrative being spread nationwide that His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi is against the production of oil in the north. Nothing could be further from the truth. His Excellency Peter Obi repeatedly stated at various local and international fora that the greatest physical asset of Nigeria is the vast, rich land in the north, and declared his commitment as a visionary, transformative leader to exploit same for the overwhelming benefit of the Nigerian people. To the architect of consumption to production, oil in the north means more revenue for development, more jobs and opportunities. Earlier attempts to discredit Obi's candidacy through fabricated allegations of demolitions of mosques, internal deportation of northerners, issuance of ID cards, and ethnic hostilities were all resoundingly, conclusively proven to be false and without basis. As if those were not enough, just a few days ago, the presidential candidate of the APC, speaking in Delta State and referring to our presidential candidate, said it was a disgrace to mention his name. While our candidate is quite comfortable with not being mentioned, it is most unpresidential, indecorous, and disrespectful from the candidate who claims his turn at Nigerian presidency. APC's strategy against Peter Obi now appears very clearly centered on promoting falsehood in addition to empty and derogatory personal attacks. And of course, this is because they can find no contentious point of negativity to push. Little wonder that their vice presidential candidate has consistently put to shame the noble heritage of the great Borno Empire in his unguarded and uncultured public pronouncements, which expose his intellectual laziness and discomfort with empirical facts and arguments. Regular insults, which have now become his trademark, have not spared the current vice president, whom he directed to go and sell ice cream, nor the former vice president, whom he described as a pure water seller, a noble venture which serves the populace better than a certain white substance. It is pertinent to recall how Mr. Shettima, at a recent public event, belittled Atiku Abubakar's educational qualification, as well as the modest lifestyle of Peter Obi. Clearly, Mr. Shettima is out of touch with reality and cannot understand that people like Peter Obi, who have reached the heights in business and material achievements, have long transcended the need for ostentatious display of wealth. We congratulate Mr. Shettima on having improved his dressing. But we equally remind him that he needs to improve his public composure and discipline in communication. Shettima is called upon to speak kindly and more responsibly about all personalities, if only to uphold long-established minimum standards. We cannot also forget his disposition and uncooperative attitude when hundreds of girls were abducted under his watch as governor in 2014, where he did little to rescue them in the first place or facilitate their rapid rescue. A governor under who education was sustained as forbidden. The circumstances of his emergence as candidate in 2011 leaves yet many questions unanswered. Others are not left out. It is important to underline that oaths of office do not expire with tenure, and hence the comment that Northern electorate do not need a Yoruba or Igbo leader is greatly at variance with the oaths of office taken in 1999 and 2003 respectively, and the Peace Accord of 2022. This is to call upon the owner of that statement to respectfully retract same in order to be readmitted to the honor list of esteemed presidential candidates. Truth of the matter is that every Nigerian from anywhere needs a credible and competent president. Simple. Going beyond comments of candidates, it is important to further highlight some other developments of concern to us in the Labour Party. We are concerned about the fate of areas designated by security agencies as ungoverned spaces, which contain legally delineated polling units. It is necessary for INEC to clearly address the nation on how it intends to handle the challenge of conducting elections in these areas. Over the past few months, we have witnessed various attacks on Labour Party offices, meetings, and our members in parts of the country, and even INEC offices have not been spared. Just a couple of days ago, Mrs. Victoria Chintex, our vibrant and able women leader in our local government of Kaduna State, was assassinated while members of her family escaped with injuries. Senseless killings have gone on for too long. We call on government within the time left to at least make attempts at fulfilling its 2015 promises of securing lives and property while serving justice to the killers. Kindly, therefore, join me in observing a moment of silence in the remembrance of her and indeed all victims all over the country. Thank you. May their souls rest in peace. We are alarmed by the reported arrest, battery, and detention of Mr. Aminu Mohammed, a final year student of the Federal University, Dutse, over an alleged social media post about the person of the First Lady. While as we have presented earlier in this address, we will never as a party condone indecorous speech and disrespect to elders. We wish to remind the Buhari State House that they rode to power on the personal denigration of their opponents and empty promises without the slightest clues of good governance. Individuals must be free to express themselves freely, and any infraction of the law be pursued as civil matter and not through high-handed abuse of power. This is not 1984. We lend our voice to the genuine calls for his immediate release. We have so far endured the aforementioned and have taken remedial actions where necessary, and where not, we simply ignored. Civility and respect of law must not be read by misguided elements as signs of weakness on our part. It is not too late to adopt our style of strictly campaigning on relevant, practical national issues while respecting individuals and institutions. Any actions to the contrary, the people responsible must know that they will be held accountable. In the decent manner we have presented our issues here today, and in the ways of the law. 2023 elections will be different, as Nigerian electorate are increasingly becoming aware of the dangers of ethnic and religious politics, a fact that is causing anxiety, frustration, and desperation with political actors of the old order. Consequently, these attacks against us are likely only to increase. We must call on authorities to live up to constitutional responsibilities, and on the general public to regard lies, misinformation, and propaganda for exactly what they are. The obedient movement under Labour Party will continue to remain faithful to founding principles and to the signed peace accord, and we equally invite all stakeholders to emulate. The next few weeks will see an escalation of election activities. I urge all who have not yet collected their PVCs to do so without delay, and to follow through to identify their polling booths, vote, and defend their votes. I wish to sincerely thank the vast majority of our people, the youth and elderly alike, from all across the nation, who have continued not just to embrace Peter Obi, my humble self, and our great party, but who are daily investing their time and resources in making sure that other Nigerians share in their conviction and imbibe the urgency of positive action in the coming elections. With us, a new Nigeria is possible. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you all for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, distinguished Senator.
My question goes to the ongoing destruction of ILEC properties, especially as it affects PVCs in some parts of the country, particularly the southeast, where it is believed that your candidate, Peter Obi, has a stronghold. Do you have fears that it might affect your fortunes in the 2023 election?
Right, can I just answer these two first? What we're doing about Aminu Mohammed, the student arrested, is we have recognized the news. So we're going after legal, confirmed, written information. And that is one. Two, we're trying to make contacts with the family and find out if they've already appointed a lawyer. Then we also want to be properly guided by lawyers, after which we'll decide the very best way, after seeking legal counsel on how to help the young man. It is very instructive to us that after having suffered 8 months of ASU strike, a final year student must be returned to school immediately. But right now we want to know his condition. We even want to know if he's alive, first of all, because when it involves battery, then somebody's life could be at risk. His physical condition, if he needs hospital care, immediately be provided and then return back to school immediately. We're trying to get across to his parents. And then to have legal, what you call locus standi, to begin to act. The comments of the candidates really have minimal impact on our presidential candidates, on the party, and on the movement. However, it does not sound right, and it keeps sending out the wrong signals to continue to make unguided statements. They might continue to fall down to nothing. Some might just walk out and may walk out big time negatively. That is why all bad statements must stop. That is why we must respect all candidates of all parties, however high or low, however rich or otherwise that they are. Respect is very, very important. It also includes respect and sensibilities of ethnic groups and faiths. If these things go unchecked, very easily the likes of Shetima will be carried away to make comments that will cause civil unrest. It is very important they are called to order. About our fortunes in the southeast, again I doubt. Our fortunes in all over Nigeria were no longer being limited to the southeast. The gains we're making in northwest now and the northeast overshadow what has been achieved in the southeast in terms of percentage increase. Those destructions were simply calling the attention of authorities. We believe they will stop, and the 2023 elections will hold peacefully, and the due winner will be declared. Thank you.
I'm calling on Mr. Eze Ocha, Authority newspaper. Concise questions, and let's keep it limited to just 2 questions, please.
Yeah, Mr. Ocha is my name. Incoming Vice Chairman, sir. Vice President, sir. Incoming Vice President, sir. Sorry about that. Incoming Vice President, sir. The manifesto of the Labour Party has been an issue of discourse for some time now. When is the Labour Party rolling out its manifesto, or are you going into this election without manifesto? Secondly, sir, Shetima has received lots of criticisms on his uncomplimentary remarks. But do you think that today's remark on his dressing is also complimentary? Because they say two wrongs cannot make a right. Thank you.
Let me quickly answer these two questions. Our manifesto has been pushed out very, very early in the day. In fact, well before any other party said anything about their manifesto, Labour Party did first. However, the rising profile of Obedient Movement and the Labour Party became a subject of attack by other parties in such a way that even before we released, others had gone about releasing the manifesto we had not released. So it informed us to hold back, be more careful about how and when we release it. I assure you, very soon will be released and we will go to the polls with a solid manifesto. Your second question is a very intelligent one, and I came here prepared for it. Now, when a gentleman has himself spoken about the subject, I repeat, Mr. Shetima actually owned up to his inaccuracies and shortcomings as far as public appearances are concerned. He began that statement by acknowledging that he has now come back to order by dressing appropriately. So if another person speaks about it, he's very much in order. It is not uncomplimentary in any way. I simply reiterated the compliments he gave himself. Thank you.
Gabriel, this day.
Good afternoon, Vice President. My name is Emmanuel Gabriel. I would like to go back to the issue of unguided statements
Yes.
that you talked about, because the peace committee was formed because of cases like this during election period. And from what I understand, from what you've said so far, it seems like the ruling party has broken this promises or the pact they signed with other political parties. If it continues like this, does the Labour Party have any intention to withdraw from the accord? That is my simple question.
Labour Party will never withdraw from the peace accord. And for that matter, any action that brings peace and prosperity to Nigeria. One. Two, it is not only unguided statements that the ruling government has been violating. The first to suffer were their campaign promises of 2015. So we are not surprised that they will make promises about speaking responsibly during the 2023 elections and again renege or fail in them. This is one of so many failures and disappointments that Nigerian people have been suffering since 2015. And again, that informs this particular press conference. That underscores the need for it to have been held. It underscores how important it is and the justice that you, our friends in the press, will take and make out of this press conference. It's very, very important that we bring an end to this campaign of negativity against opponents. Like I said, we invited all of them that it's not too late to adopt our style of campaigning. Strictly concentrate on your philosophy, your strategy, your policies, and your action plans. None of them has spoken about anything like our C2P, consumption to production. How would a government that has been in power for 8 years not have a simple, convincing project to its people? The only thing is that they have seen a promising leader. Therefore, continue to attack. Continue to attack. This should not continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So I'm calling on Onyekachi from the New Telegraph. Your question is tied to...
Yeah, to follow up what you asked earlier. My name is Onyekachi from Telegraph. Have you made any attempt to report the uncomplimentary attacks to the Peace Committee? Because there's been going to go back and tell them that they are called to sign and to obey. Secondly, the attacks on their party members. Are you preparing to report to the police, to make formal report to the police so that they know how to handle it?
Reports to the police have been made. We believe that the National Peace Committee has its relevant organs. And there are matters of legality of direct assaults, like physical assaults that have legality attached to them or criminality attached to them, which the institutions or persons directly involved will have to make those reports. Labour Party, leading the obedient and enshrouding the obedient movement, has a different mode of operation. Key among them is this press conference that we're holding. You don't go about reporting Mr. Shetima because he denigrated the personal qualities and modesty of His Excellency Peter Obi. I won't go all the way to Mina to tell General Abdul Salam that they've insulted my boss. Instead, I will endure it, like we've said. When they collect and they are heightened to a level that we are in today, we hold a press conference like this and we remind everybody, we remind the nation what everybody has been doing. Like we said, civility is not a sign of weakness. There's a right time to do everything. Now we're making our report to the Nigerian electorate, and the Nigerian electorate will act appropriately. Thank you. Next question, please.
All right. Dele from Channels. Do we have any women in the hall that have questions to ask you?
35%. Don't come back and complain afterwards.
Channels television, let me get into the issues. Those are just some remarks. Should you win this election, you'll be the chair of the Economic Council. Nigeria is leading on all fronts. We will have more than 30 million people in multi-dimensional poverty. That's a lot. That's crazy. Yes, you say you want to move from consumption to production. But the irreducible thing is that we need to be able to finance our own budgets. Our deficit is crazy. Please run us through what you want to do to, at the minimum, fund our budgets. Yes, we understand that, yeah. As some people have said, 21 trillion is, some people are just helping themselves. We don't need as much as that. But even if you need as much as that, what do we need to do to begin to fund our own budgets? Not borrow money and keep piling generations, get on board into endemic debts. Secondly, what assurances are you giving Nigerians that your administration will uphold the rule of law? 2 senior officers in this administration have been convicted by a court of law, and they've not obeyed. The chair of the FCC, and just recently, the IGP of police. This is unacceptable. What are you telling Nigerians as regards upholding the rule of law? Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Your questions are very, very relevant, and I really thank you for them. Going straight to the point, let me reiterate a major bullet point I made in the Lagos Town Hall meeting. The moment you have a group of leaders who are not, forgive my language, okay, stealing your money. The Nigerian people are already being pulled out of poverty. Because the money not being stolen will be spent on the Nigerian people. 2, the moment you have a group of leaders that mean business and that know business, your economy is already starting to be healed. Specifics beyond that is that there will be major policy shifts. For example, reshaping, redirecting, and savings from the scandalous fuel subsidy, the scandalous and fraudulent multi-tier foreign exchange system received, use our FX more intelligently, more honorably, stop the stealing of Nigerian crude oil, meet up our OPEC quota, begin to produce and refine oil locally in Nigeria, scrutinize the budgets, remove every element of waste. Then remember, we have been preaching and promoting procurement efficiency. And I tell you, what 1 billion naira is doing for you now, the same 1 billion naira will be able to extract anything from 2 to 5 times more value for Nigeria. Why? Neither the president, his vice, or anybody for that matter is having interest, personal or political interest, in the works of government. Money spent for Nigeria is only going to work for Nigeria. And many more. Time will not permit me to state all of them here. Rule of law, the assurances I'm giving you is practical because we believe in the rule of law. His Excellency Governor Peter Obi is on his way back to Nigeria, and in the last 48 hours has engaged us here to work on this press conference because we believe in constituted authority discharging its responsibilities. We also believe in the impact and effects of civic responsibilities of our citizens. You can begin to read from here, from what we are doing here and now. We believe in the rule of law, and it can only get better with time. Don't forget that we hold ourselves to account, and we ask others to hold us to account. Listen to us carefully during the rallies. We promised there will be no excuses. We will never come to power and after 1 year blame a government past. It's their responsibility. No. We become responsible for Nigeria from the day we are sworn in. If you committed a crime, you're responsible for that crime. Will not be responsible for it. If you stole Nigerian money, you'll be responsible for it. Will not be. But we're responsible for bringing you out. We believe in the rule of law. And we said it. Stop the killing, start the healing. Stop the stealing, start the keeping. Stop the slide and start the climb. Thank you so much. In case there is no other question, but I can take 1 or 2 more.
Good afternoon, distinguished. My name is Chinedu, and I report to the FM. My question is basically on the current relationship between the Labour Party and the organized labour movement in Nigeria. Because I'm also a labour correspondent myself, and I was opportune to have a chat with a TUC member, and he told me privately that it seems that there have been a real breakdown in kind of relationship between the organized labor sector, that's the TUC and the NLC and the Labour Party. As far as it's concerned, the Labour Party, what you are doing now, you are totally sidelining them from all that is going on. So my question is, what's the current relationship between the Labour Party and the organized labor movement in Nigeria? Thank you.
The relationship is a cordial one. And we are not aware of what you just mentioned. However, politics is not easy. And the kind of tremendous support that, and the growth in the fortune of Labour Party, the movement, managing success is not easy. So he's simply reading out to you the challenges of managing success. That is it. Even friends have misunderstanding and disagreements. I believe there must be some wranglings in how the growth, phenomenal growth of this party is being shared and managed along the way. And by the way, your question will be more meaningful to me and attract a stronger answer if you are able to use something more concrete than just a conversation between you and your good friend. I'm available. Reach me out through the party and I'll answer you better when you have something more concrete. Okay. Nana.
The very final question that will be taken is from John, Guardian newspaper. John.
John Akubo is the name. I write for the Guardian. My first question is, how is the Labour Party managing its own internal ranking? Secondly, okay, yes, recently there was the issue of the youth leader that was suspended and no other information about it. And I believe there may be some other internal ranking. How are you managing it? It's very important.